Imagine this. You're cruising at 35,000 feet when suddenly someone approaches an emergency exit door. Here's what might surprise you. Most airplane doors have no locks, no keys, and no security codes whatsoever. With over 40 million flights operating annually worldwide, anyone could theoretically walk up and pull that lever. Yet despite this apparent vulnerability, airplane doors are virtually never opened during flight. What invisible force protects millions of passengers every day? The answer lies in the fascinating physics of flight itself, where nature becomes the ultimate security system. The altitude advantage. Why planes soar so high? Commercial aircraft typically cruise between 30,000 and 43,000 feet above sea level. That is nearly twice the height of Mount Everest. While many passengers assume this altitude helps avoid turbulent weather, the primary reason is actually economic efficiency. At these heights, air density drops to just 1/3 of sea level conditions. This dramatic reduction in air resistance allows aircraft to fly approximately 73% faster using the same amount of engine thrust. Airlines save millions in fuel costs annually by utilizing this principle, making high-altitude flight both environmentally beneficial and financially essential for the aviation industry. The invisible danger, unbreathable skies. At cruising altitude, the atmosphere becomes hostile to human life. Air pressure drops to merely 25% of sea level conditions, while temperatures plummet to -50 degrees Celsius. If you were suddenly exposed to these conditions, you'd lose consciousness within 3 minutes, even faster than at Mount Everest's summit. The oxygen concentration remains at 21%, but the partial pressure becomes critically low at just 5.5 kilopascals. Human survival requires a minimum of 16 kilopascals of oxygen pressure, making pressurized cabins absolutely essential for high-altitude aviation safety. Engineering evolution. From open doors to pressure plugs. Before cabin pressurization technology, aircraft operated below 10,000 feet, where natural oxygen levels remained adequate. These early planes featured conventional doors that opened outward with simple latches. Pressure equalization on both sides meant minimal structural stress and straightforward door mechanisms. Modern pressurized aircraft revolutionized door design entirely. Today's doors function as sophisticated pressure plugs, wider on the interior than exterior surfaces. The higher cabin pressure literally forces these doors into their frames, creating airtight seals that become stronger as altitude increases. The physics of pressure. Nature's ultimate lock. Here's where physics becomes your guardian angel. At cruising altitude, cabin pressure reaches approximately 77 kilopascals, while external pressure drops to just 25 kilopascals. This differential creates an inward force equivalent to lifting 9,000 kilograms, far beyond human physical capability. Even modern doors designed to open outward incorporate clever engineering solutions. Boeing 737 doors feature collapsible gates and rotating mechanisms that require initial inward movement. This design ensures that pressure differentials make door operation physically impossible during flight. When systems fail, the Aloha Airlines lesson aviation history teaches sobering lessons about pressure vessel integrity. In 1988, Aloha Airlines Flight 243 experienced catastrophic decompression when metal fatigue caused the aircraft S-roof to tear away at 24,000 feet. This Boeing 737 had accumulated nearly 90,000 flight cycles, far exceeding design specifications. The incident highlighted how repeated pressurization cycles stress aircraft structures. Each flight stretches and relaxes the fuselage like a balloon being inflated and deflated. Modern aircraft are deliberately pressurized to minimum safe levels, extending structural lifespan while maintaining passenger safety. Rare exceptions. When doors do open despite physics working in our favor, exceptional circumstances occasionally overcome these safeguards. In May 2023, an Asiana Airlines passenger successfully opened an emergency exit during final approach. The aircraft's low altitude meant minimal pressure differential, allowing human force to overcome the weakened system. This incident occurred at approximately 700 feet altitude, where cabin and external pressures nearly equalized. While terrifying for passengers, the event proved that door systems work exactly as designed. Pressure differentials at cruising altitude make such actions physically impossible. Modern misconceptions. The airplane mode mystery. Speaking of aviation myths, let's address airplane mode requirements. Originally implemented in 1991, these restrictions stemmed from theoretical concerns about cellular network overload and radio interference. The Federal Communications Commission worried that phones traveling at 800 kilometers per hour might overwhelm ground-based towers. However, aircraft essentially function as Faraday cages, blocking most electromagnetic signals. Phone signals can only escape through windows, traveling horizontally rather than reaching ground towers effectively. No documented case exists of mobile phones causing aviation accidents, yet regulations persist, largely due to abundant caution. Conclusion: trust in engineering excellence. The next time you board an aircraft, remember that multiple layers of physics, engineering, and safety protocols protect every journey. Pressure differentials, structural design, and rigorous maintenance standards work together seamlessly. Aviation remains statistically the safest form of transportation. With continuous learning from every incident improving future safety, ready to explore more fascinating science behind everyday technology? Subscribe to Mindcrafted for deep dives into the engineering marvels that shape our world. Hit that like button if this explanation changed your perspective on flight safety, and share your most surprising aviation discovery in the comments below. What other mysteries of flight would you like us to uncover next?